So in today's video we're building a coupling for the CNC mill. So the reason we have to make this coupling is because the bolt snapped off in this one and couldn't get it out. So in the end I ended up just cutting it through the middle on each side and then it just fell apart. So we're going to make another one of these today. Pretty easy thing to do. Basically I'll grab a piece of stock out of my pile, chuck it up in the lathe, then we'll take these two drill bits. So the first drill bit here, the smaller size one, that's the same size as the stepper motor, and the second drill bit is the same size as the end of the ball screw. So basically we'll drill through the part with the smaller one, drill that out, and then we'll come through the other side there with the bigger drill bit halfway through. And then after that we'll pull it out of the machine, cut the end off, and then we'll turn it around and we'll face off the other side so that we get two nice square sides. Then we'll be putting one of these little M8 grub screws in, so one on each side, same as we've got there. Grub screw will get screwed in. That's what's going to hold the ball screw and the stepper motor together so that they're coupled. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Hit the lathe. Alright, so this is the bit of steel here that I'm going to use. She's sort of roughly about the same size as this bit here. So I guess before I get started I should probably talk about a few safety things with the lathe here. So always safety glasses, because you know you only get two eyes. And also long sleeves. You always want to be pulling your sleeves up because basically this machine's strong enough that it'll rip your arms off, beat you to death with them before you even know what happened. So you're better just to be safe more than sorry. So safety glasses, sleeves up. You also don't want any cords or things like this. You want to tuck them in, because anything like that, if you lean over and it falls in, it's going to grab you and pull you into the machine, and definitely don't want to be caught in this machine. There we go, we just faced the part off. It's a centering drill bit, but it's like using a punch in the end of it, but what it does is it self-centers on the round piece, and it'll basically put a hole in the center to start this drill bit. So that there basically just starts the hole for this. Pretty simple. So this old lathe that I've got, I believe is from the 1940s. Pretty cool old machine. Got a lot of power, can take pretty big cuts on the power feed. It's old imperial dials and imperial thread cutting and all of that, but for what I do around the shop, it's pretty helpful to me. I do have a digital readout on it that does in millimeters, but to be honest, I don't actually use it very often. Most of the stuff that I'm building, I'll machine it and then I'll be test fitting the part on it as I go. So an accurate dial measurement's not too critical. I more would prefer to use like my vernier calipers or little mics. So this is real accurate, close enough for the things I do in my workshop. Next hole, bigger hole. There we go, I just drilled the bigger hole in it, so now we'll take it out, chop that end off of it, and we'll go and drill some holes in it for the grub screws. There we go, we've just cut the piece off. As you can see, there's the end of the drill bit poking through, so we'll just chuck that back in the lathe. We'll face that end off, and then we'll be ready to drill the holes for the grub screws. So if I set that one on there, you can see there that the one that I've made is a bit longer, and we'll make a bit of a mark. That's about where we want it. Yeah, so we've got the M8 tap. We'll just tap those holes in there. So give a bit of cutting fluid. This is really hard to do over top of a camera. Great. And I think the holes sort of tapped. So try the grub screws. Looks like they'll go in there nicely. As you can see, there's the grub screws coming through. Grub screws there. So they're all tapped. I'll tidy that up on the linisher, get rid of the burrs, and yeah, that's about the part. So if you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Any comments, leave them down below, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel.